our little slogans out there too. When you grab life by diabetes, it means like, will you take control of your life and stuff. So what is Balance Diabetes? Balance Diabetes is a nonprofit organization that targets kids and young adults, like adolescents from the grades 6 through 12, in education about diabetes and how to prevent it and like how to manage it if they do get it in their life. Why is this needed? 10.9% of the population in Wayne County has been diagnosed with diabetes as of 2013. And that's where we plan to start. We want to start where the problem is big and where people need it the most. Over 20,000 youth as of 2009 have been diagnosed with diabetes. That's why we want to start targeting kids more, because they're more multiple, you can say. You can show them something and teach them in a fun, engaging way, and they'll learn it. They won't just disregard it. There is also a growing stigma against diabetes. My friend, she has type 1 diabetes, and since people are not educated on the different types, people have been telling her, it's your fault, you got it. Plus, you shouldn't even tell that to a diabetic who's trying to manage their own life. So we also want to educate people so that there's not that stigma anymore. Workshops. So our plan is to go to schools, middle schools and high schools mostly, and teach about how to prevent it and what managing it and the signs of pre-diabetes. And this, the workshops will include games. This is not limited. It'll include games like if you create a healthy plate, you'll get a prize, and it's not going to be like that fake fruit stuff, because people find that really unsanitary. We're going to try and use fresh fruits and vegetables so that it's more appealing. And also there will be games on how to teach fun exercises, because when you hear exercise, you think, oh, it's just going to be bad. It's not fun. And we're also going to host small group talks. It's about 5 to 6 people with a group leader, and they'll talk about how they know someone with diabetes and how it affects their life, and also the causes of pre-diabetes, and I don't want to get that. Operational services. When we get bigger, we want to open a facility that adults and the kids can go to if they need the help, because some people just want to get educated, some people don't know how to handle it, because we'll have counseling. And when you have diabetes, sometimes you get a big mental toll. You start thinking, this is my fault, or else your loved one will start thinking, this is my fault, I should have saw the signs. And then support groups, because people do need support, especially if it's suddenly new, and how to adjust. It's hard to adjust when you just get diagnosed with something. You have to change your whole life. Dietary classes, we're going to have those because when you're reading the informational pamphlet they hand you at the emergency room, there's going to be something about dietary and how you should only have 1 cup of this, 1 cup of that, a teaspoon of this a day. You don't know what that looks like off the top of your head when you're cooking. So we're going to have examples this much, as in a baseball, have this much a day, or a computer mouse. I don't know if that would be more recent, but we also have gym services because some people have trouble getting to the gym, especially since you have to have a membership. And it's just some people don't have the money or the way to get there. So we want to offer that along with yoga classes, because yoga is supposed to make you feel really good, and it also moves your muscles, and when you're diabetic, you don't want to sit around. You want to stretch your muscles in a non-high impact way. It'll prevent you from losing limbs, and you don't want to lose a limb. Therapy is going to be mostly physical therapy for people who don't have access to it. Since we're starting in around Wayne County area, there's high poverty rates, and we don't want to exclude people from it. That joy of life. Our big event, this is also when we're bigger. It's 5,000 to 7,000 people. It's just a huge fun, big event. You can bring your kids, you can bring anyone really. And it would have booths where it's like maybe a grocery store showing you healthy examples or healthy substitutes to certain things. Wellness screenings, games, because who doesn't love games? Art to buy that will, like, profits of the art will go to us to keep everything running. Merchandise. Okay, so we're going to plan to sell merchandise and also bring in funding. I have a little example here. It has our slogan on it with the Detroit D, which is very popular, and then on our back, it's our logo. We also have a shirt that says diabetes or nah to attract younger audiences and to, these are custom-made designs by our sponsor we had during the IPE camp. Our website, this website is fully functional. I go on it at least once a month to update it and look for typos or anything. It also it explains everything that we do, as in the workshops, the camps, and the events. It also has a contact us page where there's links to our social media and also our email so that people can keep in touch with us. If if they need transportation, we can try to get that to them. Social awareness. Social awareness is very big when it comes to promoting, especially a nonprofit, because you don't tend to see a lot of that. On Instagram we have 37 followers already, and then Facebook we have 148 likes. Last August when we presented, we had 105 likes. So this is just a little breakdown of where our funding will mostly come from. Donations are very good, but they don't usually help when you're very small. So we're gonna start when we're gonna see more growth with donations when we're bigger, and we're hoping to get sponsors such as like grocery stores or like small little businesses around the area, and there will be a small charge for the schools. It will be around $200 to $300. It depends on how much funding the school has for these types of events, because especially what's going on with DPS right now, we're not sure how much a school can give us to have a fixed price. T-shirts will help a little. They won't be a big percent. They'll be less than 0.5% of our income, but it will help us. Every dollar counts. So, will you grab life by diabetes?
So I'll start. I definitely start first. All the participants, you guys all did an excellent job. Judges, we have to ask you intense questions. So I want you guys to think you're not doing good. We're very, very impressed because what you all are doing is something that even adults, even ourselves, is challenging to do. So definitely great job. My question is, I remember you from last year. What, from a nonprofit standpoint, kept you passionate to stick with it since you went from 5 people down to 1? So what was it about this business that kept you going?
I knew it would help people, and my papa, he was diagnosed with diabetes, and he had to change his whole life around, and he only got like minimal help with it from the hospital and stuff. So I kept thinking about that. I kept thinking about how he felt. I have friends who have diabetes too, like my friend with type 1, who's not, who's like being remembered by the stigma of everything. And I feel like people should be more educated about it. Education is one of the biggest breakers for stigma. Also, it's just a good thing to know just in case one of your loved ones or one of your friends get diagnosed. Like, actually, surprisingly, during school this year, my biology teacher, he was comparing something to diabetes, and I didn't know which one he was talking about, and I raised my hand, and I'm like, which one are you talking about? He's like, there's different types.
Your biology?
Yeah.
I guess another question for you in particular. I know you talked about some short-term and long-term goals you'll be going to be doing with the 501c3 particular. I know you can't with grants, but even right now, you can actually leverage a fiduciary where they can take in grant money for you. So I guess as far as a starting point, how soon are you looking to try to start this project with the company?
To start it, I'm thinking maybe at least 6 months, just so I can get all the materials together that I need, like information-wise, so that, because we're very volunteer dependent, so we're gonna have to educate our volunteers in those schools and stuff, that, we're gonna have to educate them on what to do and like everything that goes into it, because, I've been researching this for over 6 months. So I would just need to get everything together. I would need to get, I talked to a nutritionist. I emailed her to give me a plan for the healthy games, just so that I could have professional word into it.
I'm going to make a comment. I thought the flow of your presentation was very good.
Thank you.
I thought that you hit upon every point with confidence and not listen to the person. So the best kind of presentations are the ones where people hear as if they're speaking from the heart, and you did that the entire way, and you covered a lot of ground. So kudos for that. I do want to make a comment for all of you out here that you definitely want to get advisors, because, as Mark said, you guys all did a great job. You're all working on something fantastic. You want to make this a reality. Get help out there. There are people who want to help. They want to see high school students achieve. So talk to your C2 pipeline coordinators, talk to your tech teachers, talk to whomever.
Just not that biology teacher.
Just and I'll take one further. You know, I work at Wayne State University, and I'd love to mentor all three teams to help you move along. So I'll give you guys my contact information later. I guess it's a shameless plug. I just realized it's a shameless plug. And I want to see you guys do this seriously. One thing that I'd like to see a bit more in your presentation is a bit understanding of money. That's all I would say that. So I'm going to hand this over to the accountant.
I really appreciate your passion for diabetes and especially for the recognizing stigma that goes along with it. And it is it's becoming less silent, but it's still a silent killer in our country that most people really don't understand. So I think the challenge that you're going to have is to harness the passion that you have, and it sounds like you have a lot of good ideas that are sort of in the early stages of forming, and so as Aubrey said, rounding up sort of a stable of advisors and people that can help you is going to be really key. You're talking about being volunteer based, so is there more than just you involved in this at the moment?
Not at the moment. I'm putting up flyers in my school at the moment so that I can see who wants to volunteer and if they will. I've talked to other people outside of school to see if they would want to, and they agreed.
That's great. Because one thing that you'll find with volunteers is volunteers are passionate, they're energetic, but they're also just sort of, tell me what to do. What do you want me to do? And they're also likely to sort of drift away pretty easily too if the thing is just poorly organized or whatever. I mean, volunteers are have a lot of demands on their time, so being able to wrangle a wide range and large number of volunteers is going to be something that's going to be a challenge for you.
I had a plan actually to reach out with the 148 Facebook likes to see if anyone would want to volunteer also, so that I would have enough to, if like a few drifted away, I would be fine, I would be secure. And I feel like the social media is so big, and you will get people from all over like flocking to you to see if like they can do anything, because a lot of people are affected by this, not just the patient, but also the loved ones and the friends of the patient. So most of the time when you have someone in your family, you want to help. You want to find a way to help. So I'm trying to use social media to broadcast the message that we need volunteers.
Yeah, that's great. So one of the products that I would challenge you to think about is the volunteer experience. What kind of a volunteer experience are you providing? There's no shortage of things that people can get involved with, and there's most of us, unless you have a cold dead heart, are passionate for those in need, and you have a really nice way, as Audrey said, of sharing your heart, and I think you'd be very successful in motivating people to get involved. So one of the challenges is to get that to stick. So if you get 10 people to help, you want those 10 people to still be around next year, because you don't want to be constantly retraining volunteers as they come in. So think about your volunteer experience and think about how you're going to honor the time that people give you, and think about the types of volunteers that you're going to need. You've talked a lot about education and doing workshops and doing a 5,000 to 7,000 guest event. These things cost a lot of money, and you probably haven't really dug into exactly how much that would cost just to develop, a trifold brochure, for instance. You have to develop a copy to get the image. You don't want it to look like, somebody just sort of threw together, with, cutting and pasting on a copy machine. So you're talking about an organization that is really labor intensive. You're talking about using all volunteers. So that's a big challenge. You want to get key people in place and have them stick. And part of that is the financing. So you talked about the 501c3. That's a great idea for what you're trying to do. I think being a nonprofit makes the most sense. But that's a challenging process too. Just filing for your 501c3 status. There's a stack of paperwork about that thick, and you got to have team 2 put together a business plan. You've got to have a business plan together and all that sort of thing. And as Mark said, you don't have to wait until you have your 501c3 status to start raising money. But I think it's important for you to gather around a team of advisors and on the financing side in particular, who can help you to understand, sort of navigate the nonprofit world is quite a bit different than the for-profit world. But again, I really appreciate your presentation and your passion for these issues. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to add, so some good advisors all of you guys can get is, I just looked up, there is a American Diabetes Association here in Detroit, the office is in Southfield, so you want to communicate with those people. Also, banks, when you go to banks typically do give money. It's part of their actually the law for them to reinvest in the community that they're in. Yep, the Community Reinvestment Act. So, you can talk to banks for 2 reasons. One, possibly get funding, but more primarily, you can talk to them and get advice on how to set up a business plan. Because they look at business plans all the time, they know what's needed in the business plan to actually secure funding. So get them to be an advisor, to show you how to put together the financing, put together the numbers, actually run your 5,000, 7,000 individual event. Now also, because you guys are young, you're smart, and you come up with these great ideas, you don't have to reinvent, you don't have to figure things out on your own. So if you know an organization, it could be the PTO at your school, it could be the Optimist Club, it could be any organization that you all look at and you admire the way they run, grab somebody from there. If you have a connection, go for people that care, that really care about you. Grab somebody from there and ask them, hey, how do you run your organization? How do you put on a 5,000 person event? How do you promote your app? How do you run a camp, right? So you want to find people that do those things and have them be on their advisory board so they can tell you what they've done. You want to get people that have been there and done that, because you don't want to reinvent things. You guys have all this energy, but if you harness it right and give the right advice, that energy will have much bigger impact as opposed to trying to figure out things on your own.